Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about brands of paint and which ones should you buy. So we'll start off, craft paint. Craft paint is great for terrain, but don't use it on your minis unless you have to. If you want to get serious about painting minis, craft paint is just not the best option. It's good to practice on at first, but the pigment is not ground very fine. It does not thin very well. You lose a lot of coverage when you thin it, and like I said, great for terrain, not so much for minis. Next brand we're going to talk about is Vallejo. Now Vallejo has many different lines. You've got the first one, which is the model color. Great paints. Then they came out with the game color. Not much difference between the two, I don't think. They're both really good. Then we have the Model Air and Game Air. These are pretty similar to the other lines, except they're much thinner. The Game Air has most of the same colors as the Game Color series. There are a few less in the Game Air, but you don't need both. So choose one. Either one works in an airbrush just fine. Same with Model Color. Then we have some different ones for metallics. The Vallejo Metal Color Metallic series is amazing. This is what I use for any silver steel color. The line has, I think, 18 different shades of silver. So, yeah, these are great. They go on usually with just one coat coverage, and they look amazing. Next is their Liquid Gold. These are alcohol-based paints, so they do not work like your acrylic paints. This is acrylic. This is alcohol-based. So what that means is you can't use water to thin these. And if you do, it will rust. So they're really good, but you do have to be careful with them and treat them differently. Next up we have Reaper Master Series. These are the first mini paints I ever got, and I still love them to this day. Great paints. They also have the HD series and the Bone Specific series. I don't have either of those, but can't go wrong with the Master Series. Up next we've got P3 from Privateer Press. I really do like these paints. They airbrush well, and they have really good coverage. And they're a little thicker than most of the other brands, so they're really good for dry brushing and base coating. So these are highly recommended. Next up we have Army Painter. I don't have a lot of experience with Army Painter. I do really like their washes, and I like their gold metallics. Other than that, I can't say too much about them. I've only used a couple. They seemed fine. So I don't think you can go wrong with those either. And up next we have Citadel. Only thing I can say about Citadel is the pots are terrible. They are almost twice as expensive as the other paints, because there's a lot less in that bottle, and they cost more per bottle as well. So yeah, last I checked, retail wise, they're almost twice as much as the other ones. But yeah, great paints. Another problem is if you don't keep the lids clean, the paint tends to build up, which makes it so it doesn't seal so well, and they dry out really fast, which is something you don't have to worry about with the dropper balls. For some reason the P3 paints don't have that problem, even though they're in a flip top. I also do like the Citadel washes. You just need to be careful with those because they tend to tip over very easily. Now we've got some little lesser known companies. This is a Secret Weapon Paints. They do a big line of weathering acrylics, and some of my favorite paints are in their set. I believe they've got 32 in the line, 36 possibly. But Secret Weapon Miniatures, good paints. Up next we have Scale Color. So this is the Scale 75 original set, and then they came out with another one called Fantasy and Games. These are really nice paints. They have some unusual colors. I found that they're not so great for base coats, depending on the color, but they're great for doing layering and glazing. They're pretty hard to find. You probably have to order them. Alright, we'll go back talking about the washes. The Army Painter washes, like I said, are great. Citadel washes are great too. Just watch out for these bottles. I made a little stand to keep mine in so that they don't tip over. We also got Badger Minotaur paint. These are airbrush. These are the ghost tints. I haven't used any of their regular paint. I have used the ghost tints occasionally. Can't say too much about them, but they have come in useful. And then we've got Scale 75 inks. These are really good, really high intense ink colors. And then there's Artist ink, which is going to be similar to what you get here. This is Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India inks, but these are useful as well. But as far as which paint brand should you use, my answer is all of them. They all have good paints. They all have what I would consider not so good paints. Some I've used once and just put away and will never use again because bad coverage, or they just some colors perform better than others. So take that with what you will. But hopefully this helps you guys out. I'll be doing another video shortly on my favorite colors from all the different brands. So if you'd like to see that, make sure and subscribe, share, like the video, and we'll see you next time.